The train doors hissed open, and Michael stepped into a world of elbows and briefcases. It was rush hour, which meant every seat was a precious commodity, fought for with silent, determined glances. He squeezed past a woman with a towering hat and a man engrossed in a newspaper, his eyes scanning for even the tiniest sliver of empty space. The air hummed with hushed conversations and the rumble of the tracks beneath, a familiar symphony of city life. Michael sighed, knowing this often meant standing for his entire commute. He swayed slightly as the train lurched forward, his backpack bumping against someone's arm. Just then, his gaze landed on a small gap, almost hidden between two people. Could it be? He took a hopeful step forward, trying to navigate the crowded aisle without tripping. As Michael edged closer to the tiny gap, a voice cut through the train's drone. "Hey, over here." Michael paused, turning his head to see who was calling. A friendly face, framed by dark, curly hair, was smiling and waving from a seat he hadn't even noticed. It was Evan, a guy from his morning art class, who always seemed to have a bright energy about him. Evan gestured to the spot right next to him, which was indeed empty. Michael felt a small flush of surprise, then relief. He hadn't expected to see anyone he knew, let alone be offered a seat. "Really?" Michael mouthed over the noise. Evan nodded, his smile widening. "Yeah, hurry up before someone else grabs it." Michael quickly shuffled the last few steps, grateful for the unexpected kindness. With a quick nod of thanks, Michael slid onto the seat next to Evan. It was a tight squeeze, even for two average-sized people on a train designed for slightly smaller ones. Michael felt a blush creep up his neck. He was usually a bit quiet, especially around new people or in unexpected situations. As he settled in, the slight bump of the train caused their shoulders to press together. It wasn't an awkward, uncomfortable touch, but a soft, constant contact. Michael could feel the warmth of Evan's jacket through his own. He kept his gaze mostly forward, trying to appear casual, even though a strange flutter had started in his stomach. He wasn't sure what to say next, his mind a little blank from the suddenness of it all. Michael, still facing forward, felt Evan turn slightly toward him. He could sense Evan's eyes on him. Slowly, Michael shifted his gaze, meeting Evan's. Evan had a gentle smile on his face, a friendly curve of his lips that reached his eyes. But this smile was different. It wasn't the quick, polite smile people gave on the train. This one stayed. It lingered, a soft, warm light in his eyes that made Michael's cheeks feel even warmer. It was only for a moment, perhaps a second longer than a normal smile, but it stretched time, making Michael feel seen in a way he hadn't before. He didn't know what to do with that look, so he offered a small, shy smile back, his heart doing a funny little jump. Evan broke the soft quiet. "Crazy weather today, right? 1 minute it's sunny, the next it's like a cloud burst." His voice was easy, like a gentle stream. Michael nodded, relieved to have something simple to talk about. "Yeah, I almost forgot my umbrella," he admitted, a small chuckle escaping him. "Ended up getting a little wet on the way to class." Evan laughed, a clear, pleasant sound. "Me too. Thought I was safe, then boom. Right as I stepped out." They chatted about the unpredictable spring weather for a few minutes, a safe topic that warmed the space between them. Then Evan smoothly switched gears. "So, how was your day besides the rain? Anything exciting happen?" Michael thought for a moment, feeling the awkwardness slowly fade away. Evan leaned in slightly, his voice dropping to a playful whisper over the train's hum. "Well, my day was mostly trying to convince Professor Miller that my painting of a grumpy squirrel was actually a deep commentary on modern society." He paused, then added with a wink, "He just said it looked like a grumpy squirrel." Michael couldn't help but laugh. It was a little bit louder than he intended, and a touch higher pitched, a sure sign of his nerves still bubbling under the surface. He quickly covered his mouth with his hand, trying to hide the telltale sign of his shyness. Evan, however, didn't seem to notice Michael's slight embarrassment. He just chuckled along, his eyes twinkling. The sound of their combined laughter was a small, bright spot in the otherwise dull train carriage. Evan, still chuckling, straightened up a bit. "Oh, that reminds me," he began, his eyes bright with amusement. "Last week, I was trying to draw a pigeon in the park, right? and this old lady came up to me, looked at my drawing, and said, "Honey, that bird looks like it's seen better days, just like my old man." And she just walked off, leaving me completely baffled. Michael burst into genuine laughter this time, the nervous edge completely gone. The image of a pigeon looking like an old man and the blunt honesty of the old lady was just too funny. Evan's storytelling was simple but effective, painting a clear picture in Michael's mind. Michael felt his shoulders relax, the tightness in his chest easing. He found himself smiling freely, enjoying the easy flow of their conversation. As Michael laughed, he became more aware of their close proximity. The train was still packed, and their shoulders remained pressed together, a constant, gentle reminder of Evan's presence. He noticed the slight scent of Evan's laundry detergent, fresh and clean, mingling with a faint hint of paint. It was a comforting mix. Looking around the crowded carriage, Michael saw strangers lost in their own worlds, headphones on, books open, or staring blankly ahead. But here, next to Evan, it felt different. It felt like they were in their own small bubble, protected from the rush and noise. A quiet warmth spread through Michael's chest, a feeling he hadn't expected to find on a busy train. It was more than just comfort. It was a soft, pleasant glow. Evan's laughter softened, and he turned his head a little more, looking directly at Michael. "So, enough about my grumpy squirrels and old ladies," he said, his voice warm. "What about your day, Michael? Did anything exciting happen in your classes? Or was it just the usual?" The question was simple, but the way Evan asked it, with genuine interest in his eyes, made Michael feel like his day mattered. It wasn't just small talk. Evan seemed to truly want to know. It was a nice change from the quick, polite greetings he usually exchanged with classmates. Michael felt a small, happy flutter in his chest. He took a breath, ready to share, feeling a new kind of openness he hadn't expected. "Well," Michael began, a little hesitant at first, "my day was mostly good, I guess. But I had this really annoying problem with my laptop right before my big history paper was due." He paused, wondering if Evan would find it boring. But Evan just tilted his head, his eyes still focused on Michael. "Oh no, what happened?" he asked, his voice gentle. Encouraged, Michael continued, "The Wi-Fi just decided to quit working in my dorm room like 5 minutes before I had to send it in. I had to run all the way to the library in the rain just to hit send." Evan listened with a serious expression, nodding along. He didn't interrupt or try to offer quick solutions. When Michael finished, Evan just shook his head. "That sounds super frustrating. Good job getting it in on time, though. That's a real win." His understanding made Michael feel surprisingly good. "Right," Michael agreed, feeling a comfortable ease settle between them. It felt like a small victory. Evan nodded. Then a new idea seemed to sparkle in his eyes. "Speaking of victories, what's your go-to victory snack? Like after you conquer a giant paper, what do you reach for?" Michael pondered this for a second. Probably those really fancy chocolate chip cookies from the bakery near campus. The ones with the flaky sea salt." Evan's eyes lit up. "No way. Those are my absolute favorite. I thought I was the only one who went out of their way for them." Michael grinned. "Seriously? I could eat a whole box." They spent the next few minutes listing other favorite treats, discovering a surprising number of shared loves, from sour gummy worms to cheesy crackers. It was a simple topic, but finding these small commonalities felt like uncovering hidden treasures. They were in the middle of a serious debate about the merits of crunchy versus chewy cookies when the train jolted violently. With a loud screech of brakes, it came to a sudden, unexpected stop. Michael was thrown forward slightly, and then back, bumping firmly into Evan's shoulder. "Whoa!" he exclaimed, a surprised sound escaping him. Evan, equally surprised, let out a small, amused gasp as their shoulders connected with more force than before. They looked at each other, their eyes wide for a moment, then burst into a fit of shared laughter. It wasn't a nervous laugh this time, but a genuine, unburdened one. The sudden stop, the bump, and their quick reaction all combined to make a silly, memorable moment. It felt easy, like they'd known each other for ages. The train resumed its gentle rhythm, but the easy feeling between Michael, and Evan remained. Michael found himself smiling, a soft, contented smile that reached his eyes. He wasn't just comfortable, he felt genuinely happy. It was strange because all they were doing was talking about everyday things, the weather, school, snacks, topics that usually didn't spark such a bright feeling. Yet, with Evan, every word felt lighter, every laugh more real. A quiet excitement began to bubble up inside him. It wasn't about anything big or dramatic, but rather the simple joy of connecting with someone in a way he rarely did. He leaned back a little, letting the warmth of their shared space fill him, a sense of pleasant anticipation for whatever came next. Evan started, pulling Michael out of his pleasant thoughts. There's this amazing little art gallery downtown. It's not huge, but they have some really cool modern pieces, and sometimes they have these pop-up coffee stands inside. He paused, a thoughtful look on his face. It's a great place to just chill and get inspired. You might like it with your history stuff. A lot of the art has interesting stories behind it. Michael's eyebrows rose slightly. He hadn't expected Evan to connect art to history, but it made sense. "Oh, really?" he asked, genuinely curious. Evan nodded, his smile returning. "Yeah, we should totally check it out sometime, if you're ever free. It's way better than trying to draw grumpy squirrels." The casual suggestion hung in the air, a light, hopeful invitation. Michael's mind drifted for a moment, not to the art gallery itself, but to the way Evan had suggested it. It wasn't a demanding "we should go," but a soft, open "if you're ever free." And then there was that smile. The first one, when Evan had called him over, that lingered just a little too long. It had been gentle, curious, and something more. It had made Michael's stomach do that funny flip. Now, as Evan spoke, that same warmth radiated from him. It wasn't just a friendly gesture. It felt personal, almost like an invitation to something deeper than just a chat on a train. Michael thought about how easy it had become to talk, how comfortable he felt with Evan's shoulder against his. It was a new feeling, light and exciting. Evan broke into Michael's thoughts. "Do you listen to anything good when you're studying or just chilling?" he asked, tapping his fingers lightly on his knee. "I'm always looking for new music." Michael's eyes lit up. Music was a topic he loved. "Definitely. I've been really into this indie band lately, the Wandering Souls. They have this amazing chill vibe." Evan's face brightened. "No way. I love them. Their new album is fantastic, especially that track, Midnight Coastline." Michael grinned, amazed at another shared interest. "That's exactly what I was thinking. It's so perfect for late-night work." They spent the next few minutes swapping band names and favorite songs, finding common ground in unexpected places. The noise of the train faded into the background, replaced by the excited hum of their discovery. The last vestiges of Michael's shyness had melted away. He found himself talking freely, sharing opinions, and even making a few jokes. The nervous laughter from earlier was completely gone, replaced by genuine amusement and comfort. He didn't have to think about what to say next. The words just flowed easily. Evan's presence was calming, and his easygoing nature made Michael feel completely at ease. It was like settling into a warm, comfortable chair after a long day. The train's rocking motion, the distant chatter of other passengers, even a constant press of Evan's shoulder, all felt natural now. He realized he hadn't felt this relaxed and open with someone new in a very long time. It was a good feeling, a light, happy feeling that hummed beneath his skin. The conversation drifted for a moment, a comfortable lull settling between them. Evan then turned his head slightly, his voice soft and thoughtful. "So, Michael," he began, "now that the day's winding down, what are your plans for the evening? Got anything exciting lined up, or are you just going to relax?" It was a simple question, but the gentle way he asked it, almost as if he was genuinely curious about Michael's personal time, made it feel more significant. It wasn't just small talk. It felt like Evan was extending their connection beyond the confines of the train. Michael considered his answer, a pleasant warmth spreading through him. He didn't have grand plans, but suddenly, the idea of sharing them with Evan felt nice. As Evan waited for his answer, Michael felt something shift inside him. It wasn't just comfort anymore, or the simple happiness of a friendly chat. It was a subtle, exciting flicker, like a tiny spark igniting. This wasn't just a random meeting. It felt like the start of something. The way Evan listened, the way he smiled, the way he suggested meeting again. It all added up to a new kind of feeling, a gentle pull that Michael hadn't felt before. He looked at Evan, really looked at him, and saw not just a classmate, but someone who made him feel lighter, seen, and genuinely interested in his small world. A quiet anticipation bloomed in his chest, a sense of wonder about where this spark might lead. Michael was just about to tell Evan he had no exciting plans, just homework and perhaps a video game, when a clear, automated voice broke through the train's soft hum. Next stop, University Avenue. Doors will open on the left. Michael's stomach dropped a little. It was his stop. He hadn't even noticed how quickly the time had passed. A faint wave of disappointment washed over him. He felt a little sad to have their conversation come to an end, especially after feeling such a new, warm connection. He had been so lost in their chat. The usual dread of his long commute had completely vanished. Now, the familiar announcement brought him back to reality, and he realized he had to leave the comfortable bubble they had created. "That's my stop," Michael said, a hint of regret in his voice as he started to gather his backpack. Evan turned, his smile still warm and bright. "Oh, already? Well, it was really nice running into you, Michael. Made this commute way more interesting than usual." He paused, and his eyes held Michael's for a moment longer than necessary. "Maybe I'll see you around campus, or, maybe we'll run into each other on the train again sometime." The last part was said with a casualness that couldn't hide the hopeful undertone. Michael felt his own smile widen, a genuine, unforced one. "Yeah," he said, the word coming out a little breathless. "Yeah, that would be great." He stood up, still feeling the lingering warmth from their shared space. The train doors slid open, letting out a rush of cool air. Michael stepped onto the platform, the familiar sounds of the station washing over him. But instead of the usual tired drag of his feet, there was a lightness to his step. He walked past commuters hurrying home, but his mind wasn't on them. It was still very much inside the train, replaying the last 20 minutes. He thought about Evan's easy laugh, the way his eyes crinkled when he smiled, and the surprising comfort of their shoulders touching. He remembered the shared love for chocolate chip cookies and the wandering souls. Every detail of their conversation felt important, a small treasure he wanted to hold on to. He was off the train, but his thoughts were still very much with Evan. As Michael walked, the usual noise and hurried pace of the city seemed to fade into the background. He realized something important. What started as a completely normal, even annoying, train ride had turned into something special. He often spent his commutes lost in his own thoughts or scrolling on his phone, barely noticing the world around him. But today, because of Evan, a simple journey had become an unexpected adventure. It wasn't just a trip from one place to another. It was a connection, a shared moment that had left him feeling lighter and happier than he had in a long time. It was proof that even in the most everyday settings, something truly wonderful could happen. With this new understanding, Michael's steps felt lighter, bouncier. The fatigue from a long day was gone, replaced by a vibrant energy he hadn't known he possessed. A wide smile, unbidden and genuine, spread across his face as he navigated the busy sidewalk. He wasn't just walking home, he was floating. It wasn't just about the comfortable conversation or the shared interests, but the feeling that he had truly connected with someone, that he had been seen and understood. A hopeful feeling bubbled up inside him, a quiet joy that hummed like a favorite song. The thought of Evan and the possibility of seeing him again made the evening suddenly full of promise. Michael reached his dorm, the scent of Evan's laundry detergent still a faint memory in his mind. He pulled out his keys, but paused before unlocking the door. He felt a different kind of tired now, a pleasant exhaustion from an unexpectedly good encounter. He wasn't dreading his evening of homework. Instead, a new excitement stirred within him. He found himself looking forward to the days ahead, to perhaps bumping into Evan on campus, or even, just maybe, on the train again. That small, shy spark he'd felt on the train had grown into a steady, warm glow. He smiled, thinking about Evan's lingering smile and the art gallery they might visit. The thought of that potential future, simple yet promising, filled him with a quiet joy.